Hi everyone. In this video, we are going to find slope, right? Using the slope formula given 2 points, right? Let's get right into it, right? Given 2 points. So we know that the slope formula, right? Or you can say the rate of change, which is m equals to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, right? Where you are given 2 point, right? P1 is x1, the coordinate of P1 is x1, and then y1, and the coordinate in P2, where the coordinate is x2, and then y2, right? So, which means that we need to locate, right? You are given 2 points here, which is we can call this one P1, and we call this one P2, right? So first, we need to locate those points, right? We need to locate x1, and then, y1, x2, and y2, right? So your first point will always be your x1 and your y1. And your second point will always be your x2 and your y2, right? So first, let's locate the points, right? We're locating the points now. So we know that this is over here your first point, which is x1, and then your y1, and then where your second point over here will be, let me use a different color pen, where your this is going to be your x2, and then this over here will be your y2, right? So watch this carefully. So remember the property says, the formula says it's y2. So we know that this is my y2 over here. So which means that it's going to be a minus, right? The minus sign is in the formula, right? And then minus y1, which is my y1 is 5, right? And then divided by, and then my x2 is what? Is 3. Minus is in the property, is in the formula. And then where my x1 is minus x1, which is 2, right? So now I can simplify. So 8 minus 5 is 3, while 3 minus 2 is 1. Therefore, my slope is 3, right? So meaning that my rate of change is 3. Now let's solve the second one. So the second one, we can do this exactly the same work, right? We look at our x1, x1 and y1. So this is my x1, this is my y1, this is my x2, and then this is my y2. Now I can apply the property since I already locate my identify, right? Since I already identify my x1 and my x2, my y1 and my y2, so now I can go ahead and write down the property, right? Since I already know the my x1, my y1, my x2, and my y2, so now I can go ahead and apply the property to find the slope, right? So now my y2, right? Since the property says y2 minus y1, so which is 9 minus my y1, which is 2, right? And then divide by x2, which is 5, negative. Right, this sign is in the property. And we notice that there's a negative 1. So to do that, we have to put the negative 1 into parentheses, right? Because we cannot just put it there. We have to put it in the parentheses because you see that they are double signs, right? Now let's simplify. So you have 9 minus 2, which is 7. And then you have 5 minus 1, right? First, before we do that, we have to multiply, pull out the negative sign, right? So we have to multiply the negative sign. So minus, let's get the 5. Negative times negative become positive, and then 1, right? So which means that we have 7, 5 plus 1, which is 6. Therefore, my slope is 7 over 6, right? So now let's try number 12 now, right? Let's do number 12. So number 12, I'm doing exactly the same work, right? So I know this is my x1, y1, x2, and then y2, right? So I want you to pause the video and try this one. All right, so I'm sure that you already tried this one, so let's do it together now. So it's going to be m equals to, you know, my y2, which is -8, and then my y1, which is 1, right, which is the negative sign, is in the property. And then I have -2 and then -1, right? So remember that we actually did we have a video like that in my YouTube. If you can check it out, we actually covered something like that before. And then remember that when we covered this, we're saying that whenever we have two negative signs, we add the numbers and then keep the negative sign, right? So it's going to be -9, right? And then this one over here will also be -3, right? We also had a property like that in our in the video, right? You know, in my YouTube, where we have a negative sign divided by a negative sign. So when you have a negative divided by a negative, it becomes positive. So therefore, the answer will be 9/3. Since we have 9 divided by 3, we could say that it's equal to 3, right? So which means that my slope is equal to 3, and that's my slope here, right? All right, so now let's try number 13. I want you to pause the video and try number 13. All right, first you need to locate. I know that's what you did. You first locate your x1, this is your y1, this is your x2, and this is your y2, right? So now we are going to do that, right? So I say my slope is equal to 9, right? Which is my y2, which is -0, and then divided by my x2, which is 0, and then -9, right? So 9 minus 0, which is 9. 0 minus 9 give me 9, right? So now we have a positive divided by a negative. When you have a positive divided by a negative, the answer will be negative. So 9 divided by 9 will give us 1, and then positive divided by negative will give us negative. So with this 4, the answer will be the slope will be -1, right? Okay, so let's try. I want you to try number 14 now. All right, so let's try number 14 together now. So it's going to be x1, this is my y1, this is my x2, and this is my y2. So now, to apply the slope property, we have my y2, which is 6, minus my y1, which is 6, and then I have my x2, which is 5, and then my x1, which is 3. Therefore, my slope is 0/2, right? So whenever you have 0/2, whenever you have 0 in the numerator, right, the answer will always be 0, right? So meaning that my slope is 0, which means that it's a straight line on the y-axis, right? So now let's try, remember that we have to look at our x1 and then our y1, and this is our x2 and then y2, right? And then what do we do next? We apply the slope property, right? Which is m equals to y2, 4, right? And minus 9, and then divided by my x2, which is 13, minus 13. So you notice that the 4 minus 9 is when you have a positive and a negative, you subtract and keep the sign with the greatest number, right? So we actually have a video like that too. So it is going to be -5, and then 13 minus 13 is 0. So now, whenever you have any number divided by 0, it will be undefined, right? Meaning that the slope is undefined. So we can just write down the slope is undefined. We can write down undefined, or you can just put 0 and then a bar in it, right? If you want, you can write down undefined. Whatever you want to write here, right? All right, so now let's try number 16, right? So let's look at our x1. This is our x1, y1, and then x2, and then y2, right? So we're using the slope property, which is y2 minus 0, and then my y1 is -10. Remember, we put parentheses, right? Put parentheses because there's a negative sign in the property, and then where my y2, my y1 is -1, right? I'm just gonna be 0 and then -4. So now, remember, we multiply the sign. Negative times negative give me +10, right? I can put the positive here to make it good for you. So it's going to be +10, right? Negative times negative be positive, and then 10, right? And then this will give me -4 because the negative belongs to the 4, right? So now, I'm done, right? So I can simplify here. If I simplify by 2, I can simplify over here by 2. What do I get? I get 5/2. So meaning that the answer will be -5/2. Meaning that my slope will be -5/2. All right. So now let's try. Number 17. I want to try number 17 by itself. All right. So let's try number 17. So we're saying that we're looking at our x1. X2, Y2, Y1, X2, and then Y2, and then we apply the rate of change formula or the slope formula, which is my Y2, which is 3, minus my Y1, which is 3, divided by my X2, which is 3, and my X1, which is 10, which means that my slope is this going to be 0, and then this is going to be -7. So which means that my slope over here will be 0. All right. So let's try number 18. I want to try number 18. Pause the video and do number 18. All right. So let's do it again. We have x1, y1. This is my x2, and then y2. All right. So now I'll apply my formula, which is y2, which is -7. Minus y1, so minus parenthesis -2, right? And then divided by, which is my my x2, which is 1, minus, and the minus in the formula, and then -4, right? And then I have m equals minus, right? -7, minus times minus give me positive, divided by 1, minus and minus give me positive also. So I have n equals to -7 plus 2, which give me -5. And then this also will give me -5 in the bottom. And n equals to -1, right? And that was all. Thanks for watching.